Hey everybody. Howdy. Good to see you. Welcome to Hawk Wins, the early morning edition. This is Breakfast with Jay Smooth and Jack Dwyer. Good to see you.
What up, world?
We're having a beautiful morning today. It's Friday morning, October 4th. It's the beginning of spooky season right now, so we're feeling it. We're feeling oogie boogie and nice and ready to trick or treat, baby.
We've been going strong in that spooky season, man.
Yeah, dog.
We had our boy John the other day. We had a really special guest on Wednesday.
We caught the big fish. We got Mark Thomas of the Alley.
The boss.
The boss.
It was pretty cool to have on.
We were really looking forward to that one. That one was gonna be fun.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
He's
good.
A great dude. So if you guys are out there checking out, check out our other live videos. Check out the boss from the Alley. Awesome interview. He had some great stories too. I knew he was gonna be a good talker. He's one of those Chicago guys, Windy City guys that, has some good stories behind him. So,
yeah, man.
Dog, look at my fucking bed head right now. You know this is the morning show. I got a bird's nest up on my noggin. Holy cannoli.
Yeah, I just got out of bed and came straight here.
Whew. Same, brother.
I was all like, oh, shit. And then my phone was dead. So I didn't know what time it was. I'm like, please be 7. Please be 7.
Let me ask you this, because I always run into this. I'm notorious for my phone running dead. Do you like scroll in bed before you go to sleep?
Most of the times.
And then you don't plug in?
And I just don't plug it in. It's very rare that I'll consciously grab my phone and be like, all right, I'm going to bed, and then plug it in and then just go to bed and just stay there.
Right.
I'll try to do that, but then I'll be like, I'm bored. Let me look at my phone for a second.
Right. It's an unhealthy thing. I'm trying to not do it myself, of having that separation to because a lot of couples don't do that, where they're like, you got to leave your phone outside of bed. I get trapped into the doom scrolling at nighttime. That's one of my fucking terrible habits. Dog, one thing I do suggest though, if your phone's compatible with it, if you have one of those wireless chargers, that's really great.
Oh yeah. Those things are dope.
Because I'll be on my phone, and then my charger will be on my nightstand, and I don't, I'm not fucking trying to plug it in when it's pitch black in there. I just drop it right on there. It's magnetic. It just clicks right on. I'm like, this is sweet.
That's cool. Yeah, I gotta look into that, because I've seen where you can just tap your phone on the little pad and then it just charges.
It's so great. It makes it so much easier.
Some wild technology, man.
Right. And it's hard too. I mean, dog, we could put a man on the moon, but with these phones, the screens still crack. The battery doesn't last very long. There's more tech in this than there was in the original moon landing. And it baffles me that sometimes, why doesn't a battery last fucking 3-4 days?
They have the technology to do it. So back in the day, that saying, they don't make them how they used to?
True.
It's a true saying, because they deliberately, a bunch of older business people like Johnson & Johnson and the whoever's, they got into a room, and they were all a bunch of light bulb makers. They were like, these light bulbs last way too long and nobody's buying them. Mm-hmm. So let's make it so that the light bulbs break after a couple of weeks, or they burn out after a couple of weeks, and people will have to buy more. Mm-hmm. They deliberately started making shit shittier so that people would buy more.
Yeah.
Why do you think people love old cars? Because they were made good American muscle cars. They were made to last. And
back when bumpers used to bump and they had springs on them.
And now it's all you barely hit a freaking speed bump and your fucking whole car just crashes.
Yeah, it's all plastic. It'll just chip away the plastic and carbon fiber. Yeah. Do you ever see those old videos of the cars with the bumpers? It was an actual the bumper was metal. It had a rubber rim to it, but then you deliberately could bump into cars so you can go park, because obviously without power steering that's probably hard to parallel park.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could be able to bump into people and not mess up their car completely. And yeah, you're right, they don't make things like they used to. Even I hear a lot of people today, even with new cars, saying that any new car made post I'll just say it, any car made post pandemic is shit. My car I just bought is falling apart already. I'm like, dude, I had a perfectly paid off car made in 2016, and I was like, this thing's great. I'm gonna run this fucker to the ground. But yeah, dude, nowadays, I don't know. It's a weird thing. The machines are taking over, but not in the right ways.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, machines are. Well, there's a few. So like with the whole AI thing, it's some of it's useful, some of it's like kind of pointless. Some of it just needs some work, and it'll be better.
Right.
What's your favorite AI thing, and what's your least favorite AI like technology thing
Oh
that
man.
you come across?
I'd have to say Opus Clip has been pretty awesome for us for Hawk Winds. Although
That's
you're the
true.
one mostly making the content with it, I think that makes our lives so much easier. Able to put out more content without all the hassle of doing all the fine editing and stuff like that. So you can focus more on the content of creating the content than editing the content. I think that's cool. I kind of. This is a weird one though. I think I forgot what the name of the Instagram page is, but it's something. It's like it's an AI program that makes like mythological creatures come true, and it's a whole page dedicated to it. And it's very old timey, and it's like here in Chicago, there's monsters crawling out of Lake Michigan, taking over the city.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
And then there's other ones with like gnomes and trolls and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is really fun and psychedelic and weird. I like those. The part that the AI that I don't like, I guess just the idea in general that it's taking away the creative aspect for people, and not taking over the hard labor aspect that people need. You know what I mean? Like we need robots to be like lifting heavy weight, and like robots to like build houses or whatever.
I mean, Amazon is kind of on that.
True.
Daddy Bezos.
But
I mean, so the down part about that is that like because they're getting replaced with robots, all these people are like losing jobs and shit. So like you got all these like hundreds and hundreds of people that used to do this thing, and now the robots are doing it.
Right.
And guess what? They don't need time off. They don't get sick. They don't have emotions to, which I get what they would do that, but I mean, now you have all these people without jobs, and it's like, fuck, dude. Like,
Right.
Where's the line? You know what I mean? Like, as a business person, you want something that, like, doesn't have as many flaws as a human, but at the same time, it's like, we're fucking human. We need this job type of thing,
even the robots were falling down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They were
exactly.
working like an 8-hour shift, and they're like, fuck, I can't be on my robot legs all day. This sucks. It's interesting to see how the human element affects that too. What about you, man? What's your favorite and least favorite part about AI?
I think my favorite part about AI is pretty much what you just said, like all the convenience that we're able to do, like video editing and like I know the app that you were talking about, I forgot what it was called, but you can literally just type in whatever prompt and it'll generate like a real cool video of whatever it is that you want. Like if I were to put giant cats taking over Sears Tower, or I'm sorry, Willis Tower.
You had it right the first time.
It'll pop up. What I don't like is pretty much the same thing that you said, man. It takes creativity away from people that it's really easy for anybody to go on AI right now and just like type in whatever they want and say that they made it, and now it's like, oh shit. And the real artists, the ones that actually like take their time to develop whatever and make whatever, they're being like, oh well, I could have done this with AI. It's like, no, you couldn't have.
Right. Yeah, I'm at least not as quickly, right?
Right.
Or efficiently. I had that thought too, because I used to do some photography back in the day. I used to work at the Picture People, and I did like some photography on independently. And when I saw all these apps coming out, I kind of stopped doing it because I realized I'm like, I'll never be as good as this app. and it started with that. You know what I mean? You'd go on, you'd download some app, and it would be like, download this app and upload your headshot, and it will turn you into like a Greek god statue or whatever it may be. And even then, people were questioning the ethics of it. which I totally understood, you know, because it was taking away that creative aspect, especially for people who do, you know, Adobe Photoshop and they're really Illustrator and stuff like that. It was taking that aspect away, but it was like now from that compared to what we have now is just, it's so night and day. I mean, you went from still photography AI to video AI, and like not only just video AI, but like animation video AI. It's incredible. It's so mind-boggling what it is now. If you were to show somebody what we have now, you know, 10 years ago, their head would have exploded. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've been like, what the fuck you mean this phone fits in your pocket?
Mm-hmm. You can video chat with people on your phone. That's great. Yeah, it's really wild. It's really, really wild.
So there's also like, you know, criminals that are using AI though. So like, for example, AI, you can mimic somebody's voice. And for example, there's
and their face for that matter.
And
you can dub someone's face over your face,
and then make it as a video or just have it as a voice or whatever. So there's been scams where like older people have been getting phone calls from their like kids or whatever from like they live in like other towns, but just like scammers and shit. Yeah. And pretty much what the voice or the phone calls is their kid's voice, but they're in trouble of some sorts, and they're like, "Oh, mom, dad, help! I need $300 for this or that." And they're older people, so they're all like, "Oh, it's my kid. Okay, where do I send it, or whatever?"
Wow.
And then they're sending their money to the scammers, pretty much. Like
That's
2 days
crazy.
later, they get a phone call from like their actual kid. It's all like, "Yeah, did you get that money?" And their kid's all like, "What money? I never received. I never asked for any money. Like, I'm fine." So shit like that happens.
That's wild.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
And you know, if people are doing that on a small scale like that, imagine mass media. You know what I mean? I've seen videos of fake Obama speeches that were made with AI.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa! Like he could, you know, there could be a video of the president saying that aliens landed on the White House lawn. And like they can make it so believable that people would genuinely like think, oh my God, like, you know, imagine how that can manipulate elections, to the viewpoint of politics in America in general. You know, you can have, I mean, dog, I shared that one video with you that it was like it looked like a sandals commercial with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. And I was like, this, like, if I was an old person and I saw this, I would genuinely think it's real and like that they were actually fucking, you know?
I mean, shit, man. I saw a video of Donald Trump saving cats and dogs.
Saving? Good. Good.
He was all like, I can't let
right now.
I can't let them eat them.
Do you think people are actually eating cats and dogs?
I don't know, man. Maybe. Probably not. Maybe it was like one case that he saw, and he was all like, "Oh God, these illegals are eating all the cats and dogs," and then he just took it and ran with it.
Right.
I'm sure there's like some asshole somewhere that like got hungry and like was like, "Fuck it."
Dog, I bet you people were doing it before they opened the borders.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's people eating fucking all kinds of shit, squirrels and whatnot.
It's a cultural thing for a lot of countries, and that's something that Americans don't really realize. Like, in a lot of countries, people don't have cats and dogs as pets. They'll look at them as just animals.
They're outside animals.
They're outside animals, and therefore, like, you could just eat them if times are rough.
Yeah,
you know.
Dude, when I went to South America, there's just dogs just roaming around, and I mean they have like their like every little house had like 4 or 5 dogs, but they weren't like inside. They're all outside, and you kind of knew which ones were yours, kind of. But you know, at the end of the day, they were just like, whatever. He'll be gone for like 4 days. He'll be back when he's hungry or something.
Wow. No vet bills.
No vet bill.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Whew. I mean, you know, granted, they're built differently over there.
Oh, sure.
The dog over there, over here, would not survive over there.
Not at all. No way. No way. Yeah, half of them would get hit by cars within the first day.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Oh, man. Is it cool if I grab oh, my coffee's right there. Can I grab a swig of my coffee? It's still the morning show.
Yeah. I forgot. I was running so quick out of the house, I forgot my Celsius. I had it open too. I was all like, all right, I'm gonna need this.
Can I hit this light for you too?
Yeah, bro.
Might need a little more light back there.
A hello world.
A little brighter there.
Again, I'm not used to. I'm not used to seeing my face like that so early.
I could turn it off. You want it on or off?
It's fine.
You like it on?
Yeah,
You like it off?
a little brighter.
Ah, boy. You have a good week this week?
It was good. Yeah.
Do anything fun?
Nothing crazy. I'm trying to remember. I went to my buddy's show last night at the Burlington. It was pretty cool.
The Coat Factory?
Yeah, dude. We're all trying on giant fur coats and playing on stage. No, I'm
Hey,
kidding.
tis the season.
There's a bar called the Burlington on Fullerton. It's a pretty cool spot.
What was the band?
It was a couple bands. There was Maze Garden, Lucky Girl Syndrome, and Antillion. They're pretty
Nice. Our homies Antillion.
good. Yeah, they're around there.
Cool. Very cool. Hang on one sec. That's cool, bro. Do you think shows pick up more in the summer or fall, or they just kind of stay pretty consistent year round?
Shows definitely pick up more in the summer. In the fall, I think you have better shows in the fall though. You have more shows in the summer, but some shows in the fall are a little better, depending.
Yeah.
And then winter, everyone's like fucking. Unless you're like a huge name artist, you're most likely like out of town.
Mm.
Because I've tried booking shows during like the Christmassy season or whatever, and it's really hard. Like venues are already taken over, and the people that are willing to play are like very rare because it's during Christmas and shit.
Mm-hmm. Not everybody wants to go out at that time too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cold.
It's cold. Now with like Netflix and shit like that, people
Mhm.
are just like, I'm just chilling at home. It's all right.
That's where our live streams come in.
That's where live streams come in. Hey, hi.
You're
Good to see
bored.
America.
Bored on a Wednesday night, watch a little Hawk Winds. you
Yeah.
know?
Tune in, tune out. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. The whole the shift in media intake or the shift in entertainment intake for that matter is so weird post COVID,
Yeah.
Like I used to go to live shows at least once a week
Mhm.
pre-COVID, whether it be an open mic, theater show, comedy show, whatever, a music show, whatever it may be, at least once a week. Now I'm like maybe every other week, every 2 weeks. I try to get to more, but now it's like it's interesting. It's an interesting, and it costs money too. You know what I mean? I think that was one thing I realized post COVID of like, wow, I used to go out all the time, and spend a lot of money to like live these experiences. Do I regret it? No, because I was living the experience. You know what I mean? I was seeing a lot of cool stuff. I was getting exposed to a lot of really great art. But then, I think when you open the world to, hey, it's okay to stay home, a lot of people who might be a little introverted or like, when I was like that, I was like, oh, stay home? Like, okay. I like being home. I'm a hermit sometimes, dog. So
Same. Yeah. I kind of have to like push. A lot of the times, the only reason I go to shows is because my friends are there or they're performing or whatever. Usually, I'll just be like, unless I'm playing, I kind of don't want to go.
Right.
But then, you kind of have to support the arts too.
Right. And it's good to show up, like we were saying, we always say this, you got to show up if you want to be seen. It's good to be a part of that crew. It's good to support friends too. You know what I mean? If homie's got a show, pop in, that's presence is sometimes the greatest present for people, just being there.
Yeah, I used to have homies that like they probably wouldn't stick around for the whole show, but the fact that they would come in and pop in for a couple minutes, maybe even just pay for the ticket just to say that they did it or whatever. It's still a good way to support because I know everyone's busy, man. So like I don't blame my friends when they're just like, yeah, I can't make it today, or I can only pop in for like a little bit or whatever. It's like, cool, man. Like just the fact that you thought about it was like sweet.
Yeah, right. It's good to know you got folks in your corner like that, you know.
Yeah.
And you gotta be on the flip side of that too, because man, I've hosted shows where nobody showed up,
Same.
and then you kind of got to ask yourself, you're like, well, am I showing up for other people's shows? You know what I mean? And and I think a lot of people, especially in the Chicago art scene, recognize that, where they'll go out of their way to come to a show if they know their friends have been to their shows, you know.
Well, as many people as there are in Chicago and as many artists as there are, the community is pretty tight, man. Like if you're constantly showing up to shows, people will recognize you. They'll be like, "Hey, I saw you at that show. Now you're here. What's your name?" you
Right.
know, and that's how you start connections. You know.
Right. Show up if you want to be seen. Show up if you want to be seen.
Let's talk about this inflation.
Oh God,
Back in my day, shows used to cost $5.
dog. Right. I mean, that's a reasonable amount though. I mean, if you're packing the place and like if you got some deal with the bar or the venue, like that's not too shabby, you know?
That was back in my day, though.
Yeah, back in the days.
Now it's like $15-$20 to get in. It's like, I mean, not that I wouldn't pay to get in, but like, fuck, man. It was so
Right.
cool when you can just spend $5, go to a show, and then fucking, you know.
You know what I really miss, dude? I really miss walking up to a place and saying, "I'll have one ticket, please." And then you like flip a coin and the guy catches it and then he prints out the ticket and gives it to you. That's not a thing anymore. You can't even like go to the Cubs game without getting stopped and frisked. You know what I mean? Like you used to just like walk in with your fucking cabbie hat and do the coin flip, and it's different now. It's so different. Even like with like Ticketmaster and all that, now they're like, here's a service fee. It's like, you're going to charge me a service fee, but then I also still have to print out my own ticket.
Like, what service have you provided for me?
Yeah. Y'all didn't do shit.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started talking about Ticketmaster, bro. Fuck, dude.
It's the worst.
Ticketmaster, Live Nation, fuck all those, dude. A ticket costs $50. You got like a service fee. You got like a fee for that service fee. You got like an artist fee. You got like a tax. You got city tax, state tax.
Yeah.
By the time you're done purchasing it, it's like $100 and something for a single ticket.
Right.
It's like we're, and you know how much of that the artist sees? Nothing.
Nothing.
So it's not even like, oh, nope, we're supporting some big fucking corporation when you buy a ticket like that.
Right.
Not even supporting the artist.
Right. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We're living in a weird world right now, aren't we?
Yeah, it's good and bad. It's bad because people like that take advantage of, you know, the people like us that just want to see shows, man. Like, we'll pay whatever, fuck it. But it's cool to know that, like, as a business person, you can pretty much make money off anything.
Yeah, it's capitalistic America.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, it sucks that people get taken advantage of, but it's cool knowing that ethically there's ways to make a lot of money.
Right. Well, define ethically.
Well, not ripping people off too much. You can rip people off a little bit.
I get it. But when you're such a big conglomerate like that, it's just like, dude.
Like, you don't need all that fucking, all those
it.
fees, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, little people like me.
Right. All the short kings out there. Oh, man.
But, dude, yeah. Ticketmaster sucks. Live Nation sucks.
Yeah. I like free shit. I love knowing what free events are going on in Chicago. And that's, I think, one of my favorite parts about the city is that although there's a lot going on with the city that totally needs to get changed, there's still a lot of really awesome free public services that go out to the city. Like, you know, any of these street fests that happen, although, and this is something interesting that I learned too, any street fest in Chicago technically is free. When you walk into them, there's like a suggested donation, but by law, you cannot charge someone to walk on a public street. So you could just walk, like, you should donate. Depends on, you know, on the cause. I do, you know what I mean? I'll kick them $5 or whatever. But if you don't have cash anywhere, you can just go right through. But that's what's cool about the city is that they'll do events like that for the people. Sundays on State Street, I think, is really fun. They always do the Mag Mile events where they just shut down the street and open it up to performers and different artists and shops and things like that. That's always super cool. And other cities have it, but Chicago does a really good job at it too. And not only that, there's a lot of like art stuff that goes on that are free events. You know, any of these, like you and I are big fans of those Critical Mass meetups, the Monday rides. Those are all just beautiful free events that we can do. Mm-hmm. Hey, real quick, do you think we should flop our video? Now that I'm thinking about this, we're looking away from each other again.
The little flippity flop.
A little flippy floppy. There we go.
Hold on. Fuck.
Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow.
We're still learning, folks.
Not me, I know everything. Oh. Just kidding.
Dreams, those were nightmares. Oh.
Let's get you nice and centered, Jackie.
There we go.
Oh.
That way it looks like we're looking at each other when we chit chat. There we go. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
So can I tell you about my last Critical Mass event that we were working on?
With the old lady?
Yeah. So it was it was my friend Courtney and her partner Juan. They are friends with this wonderful 85-year-old woman named Sharon. Sharon. And I had never met Sharon before. And Courtney was like, you know, like it's her 85th birthday. I want to do something really special for her. Mm. So we decided to bring her out for Critical Mass and do the whole bike meetup and everything. And Courtney was reaching out to some folks about renting out like a pedicab and driving her around on that. And I told her, I'm like, you know, I got a pedicab. Like, I won't charge you anything for it. Like, you just kind of got to help me get it down there and set it up and everything. And she was so gung-ho about it. It was super fun. So we packed it up. We packed up my rickshaw that it was my summer project last summer, and I got it from Working Bikes. It's a nonprofit organization in the Pilsen neighborhood, and Working Bikes restores old bikes. They fix them up, they resell them, but then they'll also send the bikes out to like third world countries so people can cool. have bikes and fix them up out there. And yeah, they do a really great service. And anytime you go in there, they're always super friendly. They'll help you out with whatever fixes you need. And I was working on this project, and my friend was like, hey, we have a full-blown rickshaw. He's like, $35 out the door, it's yours. Nice. And I was like, let's do it. I mean, that's pretty cheap. I put a lot of work into it, though. I had to replace the tires, the chains, the brake lines. I had to fix the gears. And I even like buffed out a lot of the rusts and everything, but got it up and running. And so far, so good. Everything's running pretty good on it. And yeah, I've had it for, I guess, a year now. And what was so fun, though, my friend Courtney hit me up and she's like, let's take out my friend Sharon. And we did it, dude. We brought it out we had to take a U-Haul and bring it from my apartment down to Daly Plaza underneath Picasso. Mm-hmm. And it was sweet. We decked out the entire rickshaw, and my friend Courtney drove the rickshaw dressed as Wonder Woman. Nice. And then she drove her mother and Sharon in the back seat of it. And we had a big sign on the back, and it said, "Happy Birthday." And it was so fun because the people at Critical Mass and the whole bike community in Chicago in general, they're the kindest people. They're so just aware of other people and like aware that like you just need to be kind to others. Mm-hmm. And so many people were coming up to Sharon and wishing her a happy birthday. People were giving her donuts and cake and whatnot. And she was on cloud 9, dude. Like so she's 85 years old, and I can only imagine what this woman has seen throughout her life. But like to live in a skyrise in downtown and then not be influenced to like the whole bike culture, and then like go to Critical Mass for like a night ride and see the new technology that has come around with bikes and trikes and all sorts of fun stuff. It would be so mind blowing. Like it would look like an alien spaceship for some people.
Yeah.
Because at Critical Mass, you've been there before. People got the whole light up tires. They got the whole gang of these guys. People have like the whole LED wraps on their bikes.
And then like some bikes are like electric, and they got like the little like electric fucking skateboards or whatever.
Yeah.
The little electric tricycles.
The unicycles and
Like,
yeah.
this lady's probably like 80 years old. She hasn't seen that shit before, and all of a sudden she sees all these electronic like people on wheels.
Yeah.
It must have been like something mind blowing for her.
Dude, I can only imagine. And I stuck around her side because I was riding around on my trike with dressed as an elf. Actually, that wasn't me. That was Spotlight Sparkles.
There you go.
And but it was fun. I was watching her, and just to like see the sheer amazement on her face was so like it made my heart really, really big. And it was so cool to share that experience with her. I mean, if you're 85 years old, you're probably not getting around that much, let alone a rickshaw going around the city of Chicago. And not only that, it's an 18-mile bike ride that we went on. And we started in the Loop. We zipped around. This one went out to, we went around a little bit of everywhere. We went through Museum Campus. We went through like McCormick Place area, like Bronzeville area, which I can only like that was one of my favorite parts, to go through like the McCormick Place and see the whole like expo area. And it's such a big, open, nice area, and have all these bicycles rolling through. It was really, really something magical. And then we ended up at a party over in Northerly Island. And what was funny about it though is the rickshaw, as you can imagine, it's not an electric rickshaw like a lot of the ones you'll see downtown. I've had to do my research on it. If you drive people for profit, you need to get it licensed. Or if you have like an electric motor on it, you might need to get a license. And when I bought the rickshaw and I was fixing it up, I was using it for clown purposes only. I'm only doing it just to like ride up around the park with my friends and take it to baseball games and whatnot. And so I didn't get licensed or anything. And the thing is, the rickshaw, because it's not electric powered, it was pretty slow, and it's pretty big too. So we're at the tail end of Critical Mass. And it was so funny because we're trying to push the rickshaw, kind of give it a little more speed. And it was so cute because Sharon was like, I don't understand. Is this a race? And I'm like, it's not a race, but you don't want to be last. You don't want to be last in this. And it was fun. And from that point on, we had a lot of other people helping, get the rickshaw through the entire thing. And at the very end, we were, this was funny. We were going up Indiana to Roosevelt, right at the south end of Grant Park there, right up by the Agora. If you know where like Nema Tower is and all those new skyscrapers that are on the south end. And we're like going northbound up to Grant Park, and it's a hill. You go uphill. And when the hawk winds are rolling and they're blowing southbound, that whole area is a huge wind tunnel because the wind blows in right off Grant Park and right down the street. And we wrap this corner. We're going up Indiana, and the wind was so strong that people were literally like ducking and like heave ho in their bikes. People were yelling, heave. heave, ho, heave, ho, just moving inch by inch. But the wind was so strong, literally had to hold on to my trike to make sure it didn't blow away.
Jesus.
And so we get through, and we're at the south end of Grant Park. We're kind of by the Agora, and and we look back. And I'm like, I hope everyone else in our crew is okay, because we were rolling deep. It was me, Courtney, Juan, my partner Jasmine. We had some other friends that were rolling with us too. And I'm like, I hope they're okay. And out of the blue, my buddy Juan, who has a tall bike, which is 2 bike frames that are welded together, so like your butt is like 7-8 feet up off the ground.
Yeah.
and the wind is still flying. And all these people are, oh no. And here comes Juan on his tall bike, just like not a care in the world. And he's just rolling through.
Oh my God.
And it's like, dog, I'm telling you, it was like 50, 60 mile an hour winds. And he's just like up on this bike and not a care in the world, just rolling through, meets up with us. The rickshaw meets up with us.
So aerodynamic.
We were thinking he was probably off the ground. You know what I mean? That wind probably came down, hit the street, and that's really where it was. But if you're up, you're probably out of the wind. And so a lot of the rest of the group kept going, because after that part, we went up into museum campus and then into Northerly Island, where the after party was. And a lot of people were, rolled up there. And at that point, my friend Courtney was pretty tired, as you can imagine, because the rickshaw without electricity, it's hard to push people around in that. Yeah. And we're like, all right, we got to wrap. We got to finish it. We got to finish the course. And we start going, and all that area is uphill until you get into museum campus, and then, it starts to go downhill from there. And Courtney's dogging it. She's so tired. I can only imagine, 'cause she's been pedaling this whole time in the rickshaw. And we're going. And I get a little bit ahead of them. And out of nowhere, I hear Wonder Woman coming in hot. And I turn around and I just see she's hauling ass, dude. She is flying.
Jesus.
And I'm like, did she just like take a shot of cocaine, or like what is going on here? She is motoring. And I start picking up my speed, thinking, oh, am I downhill? I'm just going to try to keep up with her while she's, rolling with me. And I turn to the side, and there's those dudes on the single wheel motor wheel thing. I don't even know what they're called. They're like the single wheel thing, and the guys wear the helmets, and they got all the lights on. There's 2 of these guys on the back of the rickshaw pushing the rickshaw, and they're motoring, dude. They're going like 30 miles an hour.
Hell yeah.
Bypass me, and they got the lights on and everything. And I thought I was seeing things. I had to do a double take, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get my phone out. I got to capture this. And those guys saved the day, because we were able to like quickly get over to the after party and hang out with everyone.
Nice.
And then afterwards we went to Buckingham Fountain, did a lap around the fountain, because all the lights were up and everything. We just want to soak in the city lights and sounds. And took some cool photos, and we headed on back. And it was a fun time. Critical Mass is or any of these bike meetups in Chicago are some of my favorite things to do. Nothing beats a Chicago party when you're just out in the street having fun, singing, dancing, acting a fool. I think maybe not acting a fool, a little bit. But that's a Chicago party to me, man. When you watch the Blues Brothers and you see people, or Ferris Bueller, and people are dancing in the streets. People ask me on when I used to be a tour guide, they're like, do people actually do that in Chicago? And I'm like, yeah, I'm like regularly. It seems like a bit, but like it kind of is a real thing, because Chicago loves to dance and sing in the streets. It's any celebration for sports teams, anytime, Critical Mass, anytime you get out of like Lollapalooza or any event in Grant Park for that matter, that like walk home is always kind of cool, because people are just out, they're walking down Michigan Avenue. It's a cool experience, for anyone out there who's looking to explore Chicago more. Be a part of some of these groups. If you're a roller skater, they got roller skating meetups. If you're a biker, they got the bike meetups. any chance you get out into the streets and explore your city a little bit more. It was a good time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, those things are always fun.
Yeah.
I used to go with all my friends and shit, and we'd all just pack beers and fucking joints in our book bags, and then we would because I would do like Monday night ride every Monday, and same deal, which is like we would stop at like 4 or 5 different or like 2 or 3 different places, 18, 20 miles or whatever, and because it was Monday night ride, we didn't start till like 10 p.m. And so we would go until like 2, 3 in the morning, man. Like some of us would still be up riding around when the sun would come up.
Damn.
It was cool. Yeah. That
You
was
go to the lake at that point?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just just depending who you're with. Like, me and my homie would bring our guitars, and like that little waiting section when everyone's just waiting to get started or whatever at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
Me and my homie would like play guitar for everyone, and it was pretty cool. Like we just bust out whatever songs we were working on or whatever
Cool.
covers we wanted, and start playing. Take our guitars on our backs, and then ride to the first stop, and do the same shit over there. But by that point, people were already like drinking and shit, so it was a little bit more fun. And then by the time you got to the last stop, that's where like the real party happened.
Yeah.
Although by the time you got to the last stop, you're down to like half the crew because like everybody just went home already.
Right. People are like on the route and they're like, my apartment's right here.
Literally, yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, I get it, but it was fun, man. You go meet up somewhere, hang out with a bunch of friends. Everybody has a bike, and then you were saying that the bike community is like the most nicest people ever. I truly do believe that because sometimes, man, like let's say like you're riding with a bunch of people, your like wheel pops immediately. 4 or 5 people stop just to like help you fix your wheel so you can get back on course with everyone,
Right.
or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? There's like
Right.
everybody there has like tools and shit.
If you fall, they'll pick you back up. Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll stop the route, make sure you're safe.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Did I tell you my Elvis story?
When you went to Critical Mass dressed as Elvis?
Yeah.
What was that?
So it was 3-4 months ago. It was my first time ever doing Critical Mass, and my buddy Juan told me, he's like, you should skate it if you've never like done it before. Skating's kind of cool because then you can kind of explore it a bit more. And I was like, hell yeah. And I me, dog. I like to dress for the occasion. I like to make it a big thing. And yeah, dog, I dressed up as Elvis Presley, and I had a speaker on me and a microphone, like a headpiece microphone, like a tour guide mic. And it was great because I was playing Elvis music and I was singing, and people were singing along with me. And yeah, dog, I had the full like Aloha from Hawaii Elvis getup on. And one of the funny parts about it was that the king went down in Chinatown.
Oh no.
Let me say that again. I said the king went down in Chinatown. Dog, I was going downhill in Chinatown. I think I was on Cermak, and I'm just about to like go under this bridge, and it was under construction at the time. And I remember looking down, and I see like the reflection of the oil the tar that's on the street.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought to myself, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna stop in time. There's no way I can like brace for this fall. I'm like, I just kind of got to take it right now.
Jesus.
So I fell on my ass, dude. I fell so hard on my ass. Thank God I had like the hand protector things that stopped me.
Damn.
But dude, I beefed it so hard. But then afterwards, it was so funny because a lot of the people were like, Elvis, you okay? You okay? Oh, I'm all right. I stayed in character,
Nice.
And then I met this really cool dude named Brian, and he gave me a beer after. He's like, "Are you good, Elvis? We heard you went down in Chinatown." And I'm like, I'm all right. And he's like, "Here's a beer. It'll make you feel better." And bro, it was so funny. People like, I didn't bring anything. It was just like, I brought my fanny pack with like maybe a granola bar in it. I didn't think about bringing water or anything. And along the route, people were just like handing Elvis beers. I was like, this is fucking sweet.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'll take a beer. But the community, they're so so empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, they're very aware of everybody's surroundings, and I'm from the South Side, dog, and I know so many friends who have had their bikes stolen, and I think that's one of my flaws. I'm always super anxious all the time because I'm like, fuck, I don't want my bike stolen. Let alone my car, which got stolen, but that's a whole other story. Yeah. But with that being said, I even like waiting around doing the bike meetups and stuff like that, I never felt worried that my bike was going to get stolen or some goofy shit was going to happen, because everyone's very responsible there. Everyone is very community driven, to look out for each other.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. It's, I think, something that we're missing here in Chicago. I mean, to an extent.
I think Chicago has one of the best community type of people in like pretty much all of the US.
Yeah.
Did you know it was actually voted best city to live in or in the world 8 years in a row or something like that?
Yeah. And I think it just got that title again this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd believe it. I mean,
I kind of believe it compared to I've been to like other cities. They kind of suck.
right.
Not like in the sense that like everything sucks or whatever. It's just like, for example, if you live somewhere else, you kind of need a car to get around,
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to Seattle a couple years back. Unless you're like in the main, but even in like the main city, there's like a lack of like Ubers and taxis and shit, and like the public transportation doesn't, it's not like here where it's every 5, 10, 15 minutes. Over there, it's all like every hour you get like a bus.
Right.
And if you better not miss it, because there's not another one for another 2 hours, and it won't take you where you got to go. It will take you nearby, and then you still got to walk.
Right.
And that's a lot of places. I mean, with the exception of like the big cities, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
public transportation on Chicago's grid system is pretty top notch.
it's probably one of the best. Then yeah, just the fact that everything, I guess more towards like the suburbs. I guess everything's like 20 minutes away or whatever. And then there's some like states or whatever where like, for example, on Sunday you can't buy beer.
Mm-hmm. Dry counties.
Fucking wild, man. I went to
Yeah.
fucking I forgot where. It was near like Decatur, Decatur, Illinois or whatever. I was near there somewhere, and
Decatur, I hardly knew her.
oh, she knew me afterwards. But I spent a weekend there. I forgot what little town it was. It wasn't Decatur. It was near there. But I went, and we were like drinking and shit. And so Sunday rolls by. We're like, fuck it, let's continue. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning. We're like, fuck it. So me and my buddy go to like the gas station or wherever the fuck it was, and we're like about to pay for this beer, and they're like, no, we can't sell you any beer on Sundays. I'm like, what kind of bullshit is this?
They're like, you boys need church.
Yeah, bro. I was waiting for like some fucking dude in like a pointy hat to come out and be like, what are you boys doing around here? Type of shit.
I don't want to go down that road.
All I saw was like in that little town, it was fucking like military flags and like military people. Like it was one of those military towns, you know what I mean? Everybody there was like, everybody there was white and shit, but like, also like military. And we were like, I don't know how far we were from like the racist people, you know what I mean?
I'd say pretty close.
And so I was just like, oh fuck. And that's when I realized, I'm like, maybe we should just go home now.
Right. I think I'm gonna leave. Yeah, that's an interesting thing about America in general, and I think a lot of people don't realize that with a lot, like at least the Republican Party right now, where they want to give more power to the states to decide certain things like that. Like if you're a dry county, if you believe in this or that, making local politics a lot more important than major government politics, presidential politics. Because some people are more conservative like that. You know what I mean? Like if someone's getting fucked up all day Sunday, they ain't going to show up to work on Monday, Like alcoholism in small town America is pretty rampant, you know? So.
But what if they are, though? Like what if they do show up to work on Monday all hungover like I usually do.
I mean, people still do, sure,
You know what I mean? I feel like that should be an individual's choice, not a,
for sure.
like I shouldn't. If I personally want to go get fucked up on a Sunday morning, I should be able to without having the dude who's selling, standing behind the clerk tell me, hey, you can't do that. I'm like, why not?
Well,
I want to.
get your shit ahead of time.
Yeah, I guess that. No, I don't get fucked up on Sunday mornings. But if I did want to, I'm glad that I live in Chicago and I'm able to if I really, really wanted to.
Sure. I like a good Sunday fun day because then it's like you can party while the sun is up. It's nice. You can cook some good food at home or go out to the bar, watch a football game.
I like
and then come home and sleep by like 5.
Yeah.
It's nice. That's really nice.
I was going to say something like that. Like I like brunch because it'll be like 11 in the morning and like we'll be drinking mimosas with the homies.
Yeah.
And then, 2 o'clock rolls in, 3 o'clock rolls in. We're like, all right, dudes. See you guys later, and then we just go to sleep.
Yeah, dude, I would prefer that. I wish maybe this is my age speaking. I would like a lot of things if they were a little bit earlier. If concerts started a little earlier, if parties started a little earlier, because I'm old now, bro. I ain't staying out till 2-3 a.m. anymore.
Yeah,
I don't
that.
even get like standing seats at concerts anymore. I get fucking seats because I'm
Like,
I'm
if
old.
if I can't sit, I ain't going, bro.
Yeah, I'm like I want to be out. I want to be out by 9 so I can catch Svengoolie and call it a night.
I feel like I'm on the verge of that. Like I'm in between. Like I have to have a really good reason to stay up till 2 in the morning if I'm out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, if I'm at home, I'll stay up whatever. Scrolling through whatever. But nowadays, I mean, before, dude, you would have asked me to for example, the Monday night ride thing. We wouldn't be done until like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
The sun would be up, and then we'd still be like, all right, what's next? What's the next stop?
Man, I couldn't do that.
Now,
Ugh.
yeah, I mean, now it's all like, I mean, even last time, when we did critical mass, I saw like a route that was nearing my house. It was all like, well, I'm here now. I gotta go.
Right? Why would I go out of my way just to come back?
Yeah. But before it would have been like, well, I'm literally a block away from my house, but fuck it, everyone's going over there, so I'll go with the party.
Right.
It was-
When you still have cartilage in your knees and your bones are jello, sure.
It's all like, fuck it, let's go. But
Oh man.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah. But I do you think you're more of a morning person or a night owl?
Both. I can be both depending. Like up until recently, I was getting up pretty early because like for like work, for example, like I would have to start at like 9, and then so I would get up at like 7. But because I have a new job now, it starts late, so I get out of work at like 10, and then I won't go sleep till like 12 or 1. So then I get up later.
Right.
I guess, but none of them. I don't hate either of them. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's just about getting proper rest, I guess.
Sure.
Like I can do both. Like I love waking up in the morning because then I get to do more shit. You know what I mean? But I also love sleeping in. So plus, there's a lot of shit to do at night too.
Mm-hmm.
Bars are open till 4.
Right. Yeah, I'm more of a night owl myself, but like to a point, like I think I'm an extroverted introvert, perhaps. Maybe it depends on the day, but my social battery will drain real quickly if I'm like out at a club and I can't hear shit. I'm like I want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm at home, like and I'm working on something fun, if I'm like painting or doing something creative, I'll stay up till sometimes 2 in the morning, 2-3 in the morning, just working on that because I just enjoy that nobody else is up right now and no one can bother me. But I do not like mornings. I do not like mornings at all. I'm not a morning person. My girlfriend always makes fun of me, and my boys make fun of me too. They call me Campy Jack. Whenever there's something that's super fun in the morning, I'll wake up and I'm like gung ho, ready to rock and roll. Like if I got to wake up and go to work, I'm dragging ass. I'm
Right.
I'm fucking straight lining coffee, you know, and I'm not a morning person. But if there's like a fun thing, like if we're doing something creative that day, if there's, you know, if I'm doing something that I love to do, I'm up and at 'em. If I'm with my boys at a lake house or something, I'm up. I'm cooking everyone breakfast. I'm the happiest motherfucker in the morning then. But like on a Monday through Friday basis, ooh man, I'm a night owl, and it's not a healthy thing.
Yeah. Like yesterday, I was editing some clips or whatever after I got home from the show, or like 10 or something like that, and my whole like I was just gonna stay up till like 11 or 12. I was like, I'll just stay up for another hour just editing this or whatever. By the time I realized that it was like 2 in the morning, I'm like, oh shit.
Time will slip by.
Fuck,
Yeah.
man. And,
But when you're up that late, it's nice. Yeah, no one's bothering you. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, there
Just
was
in
a
your own
point where
zone.
like right before I went to sleep, I just went outside to like smoke a quick joint because
Mhm.
it helps me go to sleep, and so it's really peaceful. You know what I mean? You kind of because I have a nice little balcony, and so I kind of get to like see the city a little bit, not really, but a little bit, and so it's nice and quiet, and like
Mhm.
all you hear is maybe a car or two, and no one's out, and you just I don't know, it's fun, you know.
You're like, Alexa, play Night Moves by Bob Seger. Doodaloo-doo.
No, what was that? What was that one saxophone? Whisper in the Wind.
Whisper in the Wind.
Yeah. Do 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 do.
Oh, you mean Careless
Careless
Whispers?
Whisper. There you go.
Careless Whispers. I don't know if I could play it. We might get kicked off.
It's a cool. I'll hum it. It's just me smoking. Imagine me in a balcony, smoking a joint, lighting up. Yeah, that was me last night.
Sexy. Sexy.
You know, they say you have to roll your joints like you treated a woman.
Lots of tongue? How's that?
Very wet and use your fingers.
Ooh. Ooh. And jam your pinky in it. Yeah.
You know?
You know, there's something sexy about like lighting up a smoke. Like when I was single, I used to smoke them real cigarettes and do hood rat stuff with my friends. But no, dude, I used to smoke cigs. I liked the nicotine of it, but I think I liked looking like a cool cowboy more than anything. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's the big that was the big thing for me. Like I remember having this thought. I was smoking a cigarette one time, like, this fucking sucks, dude. Like, why the fuck do I do this? And like some chick passed by, and like we kind of made eye contact, and I kind of did this like cool cigarette thing where I was like, what's up? And then I'm like, oh, that's probably why.
Uh-huh.
Like, I fucking hate this shit, but it looks so fucking cool.
I look like James Dean right now.
Cigarette after sex, yes or no? Back when you used to smoke.
I would say no, because I wouldn't go outside for a smoke, you know. But like maybe a bong rip after, something like that. I don't like the idea of smoking cigarettes indoors. You know what I mean? I've seen so many people get that fucking musky, nasty shit all over the walls. It's just.
I was never a fan of like smoking cigarettes inside either. But sometimes after doing it, I'd just be like, fuck it. Again, it wasn't like no other reason, just because I just thought it looked cool.
Yeah. So you do cigs after sex?
When I used to smoke, yeah.
Yeah. How romantic.
You know, I used to want to give off like that douchey guy persona thing where it was like, all right, we're done here. Get out of my house.
Yeah. I called you an Uber.
Uber's outside.
Do you like French inhale?
First,
can you do any smoke tricks?
kinda. I can do the French inhale.
Yeah.
I can do like the O's and shit. What else? That's about it. Nothing crazy.
I could do a magician act. I make all my weed disappear. Ooh.
Whoa. I can do that too. Give me all your weed.
I like the one where you can like put it in your palm and like inhale it out of your palm, you know, if you have it like in your hands. That's a cool one to do.
I was so prepared to talk about a lot of weed and weed food today.
Yeah. We can still talk about it.
I was ready to talk about terpenes and shit.
Yeah.
You know what terpenes are?
Yeah, it's so like the flavor bits of it and everything make them taste like certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I heard something that last time I was at the dispensary, I kind of told the guy, I was like, oh, you know, I'm looking for more sativa based, this and that. And the guy was like, well, you know, and I knew this going into it, that throughout time, there's no straight sativa, there's no straight indica. There's definitely strands that lean one more than the other. But what the guy was saying was the terpenes.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I want to say turpentines, but that's not right. The terpenes.
Mm-hmm.
The terpenes would lean one way or another, making you have the feel of a sativa or an indica. Mm-hmm. So like if the terpenes have more of a lemony aftertaste, people associate that more with a sativa and a head high compared to like something like that has more of like a watermelony aftertaste, which has more of an indica vibe to it. Is there some truth behind that, or
Kinda. So like sativa and indica, that's mostly just referring to how the plants were grown a little bit. I forgot which one. So one of them is more like a shorter, like little chubby, fatter leaf, and the other one is more like a longer, fucking wavier leaf or whatever. I think it doesn't have too much to do with the type of effect that it has. I think that's more. There's a lot of other chemicals in the marijuana, like THCA, THC, CBD, all these other like different types of cannabinoids that your body morphs with or whatever. That's why like not everybody gets the same effect when they smoke a quote unquote sativa. Like if you and me were to smoke the same weed, I'd probably get, you know, a different effect than you. I mean, it might be similar for sure. We'd both be high as shit, but then because people were presented these terms that, you know, people don't know much about, it was more like this is how we differentiate from the dispensary's point of view, and then you give it to the people, and that's what they grew up with. You know what I mean? But it's it's a misconception that sativas and indicas are like one gets you up and then one gets you down. It's like it's more has to do with like the chemicals and the cannabinoids that are in the marijuana. So pretty much when you say I want a sativa, you say I want a weed that's, you know, a little chubbier with, you know, fatter leaves pretty much. But many people don't know that we were just presented these terms because we don't, you know, marijuana is fairly new, you know what I mean? Like,
right,
or at least the research information from it. You
sure,
know what I mean?
sure. To have it listed like that. Otherwise, it was just like, oh, I just have this bag of green. This is what I got today, you know?
And then, you know, back in the day, people would make like brownies and gummies and shit. And it was very hard to like dose all that stuff, you know what I mean? So like you would, for example, you would make like, you know, some people would just throw like weed in a fucking batch of brownies, bake it for, you know, whatever long, and then cut it up. Some people would get like really high, while somebody over there would not get high or whatever. But that's because of like the distribution of the marijuana, and that goes back to like the culinary thing, where it's like you got to be able to like mix everything properly. Like maybe you throw in a bag of weed or whatever. Now people are starting to do more like fine dining type of ordeals. You know what I mean? So like instead of, and the whole purpose of that isn't to get people fucked up, because they'll do like 3, 4, 5 course meals. Imagine eating like a 5-course meal full of weed. Like that.
Right.
If you don't do it properly, it'll fuck you up,
dude. Right.
Yeah. But
and how do you, and you know, and you said something interesting earlier, because people have different effects with weed. Some people I know, they're like I don't touch it because I'll fall asleep, or I'll like go off to La La Land. Or some people it doesn't even really like affect them all that much. And I guess that's the hard part about it, even in the sense of like if you were to get pulled over for like a DUI, even how do you test how high somebody is? You know what I mean? Or how the high is affecting them?
I don't think you can.
You can. I mean, not necessarily.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, at least yet how high somebody is. You can definitely test for amounts of like marijuana in their system and shit. Honestly, when people like uh do eat weed, you kind of have to be very competent in your ability to be able to dose people. You kind of have to do that on like a person per person basis. Again,
Right.
kind of get like, for example, if I were to do like a weed dinner, you know what I mean? I would get information from everybody. How much weed do you normally consume? Do you normally, you know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. And then obviously you wouldn't want to just get your weed from like a fucking drug dealer, you know what I mean? You go to a dispensary where you know more or less how much is in each batch of weed, and then you distribute that amongst whoever.
Right. And that might be a better way of even dosing it in general, because you can eat something that says it has 20 milligrams in it, and then you can also give somebody a joint that has X amount of weed in it. But are they actually inhaling? Are they inhaling for that long? Is that like is the THC even getting into their system properly?
Yeah, when you
'Cause I know a lot of motherfuckers who don't even know how to inhale and they still smoke weed. I'm like, you're not smoking my weed, dog. You ain't holding that shit in.
when you ingest weed, it works differently in your body than when you smoke it. Your body has to digest it, and it has to go into your blood system. That's why it takes an hour sometimes for it to kick in. Like that's why sometimes when you eat like a weed brownie or whatever and you don't feel it kicking in right away, you're kind of like, oh, what the fuck, but it's really gonna take a minute.
Right.
And so you eat another one, and that's when people fuck themselves over.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, man, this whole fucking weed culture is actually pretty cool now, man, because you got like all these cool like fine dining chefs and shit that are like really talented that are now finding ways to use weed in their cooking the same way they would use like basil or whatever.
Right.
It's pretty cool, man.
Right. And I think it attracts such a larger audience, because like you can't necessarily like for instance, if you have an older family members, someone maybe has arthritis or lupus or whatever it may be, it's hard to present to them the benefits of marijuana via normal resources of how people take it. Like if you bust out a bong at a family party, grandma's going to look at you funny. But like if you cook grandma, linguine and noodles, with based on THC, and she afterwards like feels way better and like is able to consume it in that sense compared to a bong, with her consent, of course. Don't get your grandma's high. I think that's an easier way to bring it on to people then,
Yeah, man. And exactly to your point, where now you're able to present marijuana to a whole range of people now. It's not just because you're not just consuming fucking little brownies that you just made in your fucking. These are full blown fucking culinary people, like full blown chefs that are like, well, I'm gonna utilize weed like I utilize, basil or whatever, rosemary.
And what's the best way to do it? It's extraction through butter. Some people use coconut oil.
Yeah, I guess it just depends, because again, all those things have different flavors, and essentially you just gotta extract it with a fat. I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, again, it just depends what you're making, which goes into like having to have that culinary knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't use like olive oil if I knew I needed it to cook something, because you don't cook with olive oil. You know what I mean? You just use it as a dressing or whatever. And if I knew I was gonna
wait, hang on, real quick. I cook with olive oil, like putting it on the pan and then like putting
it burns really quickly.
Olive oil?
Yeah, it has a very low burn. I mean,
What should I be using?
Beef tallow.
Well, sorry. Sorry. Oh, do you have Grey Poupon with that too? Fucking food snob.
But I mean, no. That's what we all should be using. It's like technically like natural and fucking, you know what I mean? I would stay away from all the like processed oils, like fucking, maybe vegetable oil, but I would stay away from like canola oil and shit. All that shit's really bad for you.
Right.
I would use like avocado oil or like grapeseed oil.
Okay.
If you're gonna, I mean, everybody uses regular oil, but if you have options, grapeseed oil I think has one of the highest burning rates or whatever, so it will take really long for it to burn. For example, if you're cooking something that you need to have oil on the pan for a long time, I would use grapeseed oil. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
If
Okay.
you're gonna dress a salad, olive oil. Make
Mm.
sure it's some good olive oil too.
Sure.
I would invest yeah. I don't know what brand, but I would invest on like a good olive oil if you're cooking constantly. If you're not, it doesn't fucking matter. If
Yeah.
you're not cooking constantly, you just eat whatever the fuck.
I got two things for you. One thing I was reading was it was saying that cellulite, like cellulite in people's legs, that wasn't a thing back in the day, and they were wondering why like now it's such a big thing. And they were saying is mostly because of vegetable oils that people are consuming. Like back in the day, people didn't eat that much kind of stuff, even like processed food, canola oil, all that shit. It goes into it, and that's where you get the
So your body doesn't know how to process oils like that. It's a completely foreign thing that you're putting into your body, and it's really hard for it to like digest and process. So people back in the day were saying that butter was bad for you and that you should use oil, but turns out that's not true. People have been increasing oil usage and decreasing the butter usage, and then they were like seeing that heart disease and stuff like that was still on the rise, and then they were like, well, red meat's bad for you, and then they stopped eating red meat but then continued the oil, and they were like, well, red meat's down, butter's down, but people are still getting heart disease. And so it turns out it was all the oil, because once you cook oil, the chemicals turn into something different. You know what I mean? It's not the same oil that you grab from the bottle into the pan. Once you get to a certain temperature, the chemicals start becoming something different.
Interesting.
And so like your body doesn't know how to break that down.
Huh. Interesting.
And then so I mean, yeah, the healthiest way to eat, even though it's really fucking expensive, would be beef fat, beef tallow.
Now you were saying even to cook, to like extract weed, the THC from marijuana into the oil, you were saying something with fatty based was probably better. Would bacon grease be a good alternative to that? Because I know it's not healthy, but I love cooking shit in bacon grease.
If you extract bacon grease and it doesn't like burn out on you, and then you're able to like, because when you extract weed into whatever fat you're using, it's a very slow process, unless you have like some sort of fucking machine to do it. Some people do. But it's usually like a 4-hour process that you either have to keep it either in the oven or on the stove, depending on how you feel like doing it. But very low temperature, 200 degrees, maybe 250 or whatever, highest I think, and then leave it in there for like 4 hours. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
It's time consuming. That's why not a lot of people do it. And then you can use like other shit. Like you can also extract it with like cream, like heavy cream, and you can make ice cream with it. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah. Make ice cream with it. There's things called tinctures, which is like straight up like fucking
THC little droplets.
Yeah. But you can also kind of make that with like Everclear. You just so you put a shit ton of weed in a thing of Everclear, shake it up, put it in the freezer for like a month.
No shit.
Yeah. And
really?
Then, put it in the freezer for like, it has to be like Everclear. It has to be like,
You getting double twisted then? You getting drunk and high from that?
I don't think so.
Dog,
or maybe
you can,
but
Everclear is.
Yeah. But then you wait for like a month. You leave it in there. The alcohol starts extracting the THC or something like that, and then little droplets. I think because you're cooking it, I think the alcohol portion of it
burns out the alcohol.
Burns out, yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of cool shit. Like you can make weed infused sugar and butter with those tinctures or whatever. Like with the Everclear solution, you can mix a little bit with like salt or sugar, and then just let it dry out for like put it in like the oven a little bit.
Interesting.
And then you have infused sugar and infused salt. You can use the infused sugar to make like lemonade or whatever. Now you got a weed infused drink.
Dude,
it's pretty interesting, man. Like what you can do with weed, bro. Like I made a beef Wellington one time. It was pretty fucking dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my Instagram. It's on the Dank Cuisine Instagram.
Hell yeah.
But
Damn.
yeah, man. I'm definitely gonna try to get another weed chef in here for sure. It's pretty interesting. I had so many questions for this guy, man.
I know. It's all right. It's all right. We live and learn.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell him 10 a.m. next time.
Yeah, we'll get that on.
Well, the thing is that we were supposed to be out of here at a certain time because other people are coming in
Are
later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably should
We should probably wrap
wrap
it
up,
up then,
soon.
huh?
Yeah.
Cool. We had a good talk though, at least.
Yeah.
It's nice. We got a couple kinks fixed out too. So all of our viewers, they're gonna be pretty happy coming forward.
I feel like this wasn't a complete waste, you know.
Yeah, dog.
We got shit figured out. We got some good topics talked about. We at least got some content that we can, you know,
Yeah.
batch out later.
Yeah. It's
Good day, America.
It's a good day. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, and it's Friday. Shh.
It's Friday. It's Friday,
Good,
baby.
good start to the weekend.
Yeah.
Some of you guys got paid today. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Happy payday. You doing anything this weekend? Anything fun?
Just work. I have Sunday off. I was probably gonna hang out with some homies.
Nice.
Yeah, man. That's probably about it.
Good deal.
Yeah.
I don't have too many plans. Although my dog's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh shit.
She's turning 6. What do you get a 6-year-old dog?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter? She's already got peanut butter.
Doggy whipped cream.
That's a good one. Doggy whipped cream.
I bought my brother's dog doggy whipped cream, but it was like bacon infused or whatever, or like
Nice.
flavors of bacon or something like that. I tried a little bit.
Was it good?
It was good.
They
I mean,
make some good dog brand stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
I had dog beer before.
it's not like fucking. It's not like poison or nothing. So I tried it. I was like, okay.
Right. You know, I heard something about dog food. This is a weird transition after talking about weed food. I read that after the Great Depression, what was it? The FDA needed to approve dog food and any pet food for that matter. It needed to be able to be consumed by humans because so many people were eating their pets' food during the Great Depression. And a lot of people are getting sick and dying. So afterwards, they were like, this needs to be able to be consumed by humans as well. And it's a weird thing. If you ever crawl down this rabbit hole, look into it.
I've got a story for you.
Lay it on me.
So, my family came here from South America a long time ago, and they knew no English. They didn't know how to read nothing. They're used to tuna cans. You know those tuna cans?
Uh-huh.
One day, I think my mom's getting home from work or something like that, and like my dad opens up one of the thing of cat food.
Oh, no.
And I don't know if you've ever seen cat food and tuna. Sometimes they look similar.
Uh-huh.
And I think my mom walks in on him eating cat food, and she's all like, "Yo, like, why are you eating cat food?" And he's all like, "This is tuna. It's delicious. You want some?"
Oh, no.
And I guess my mom's smart. She's like shows her the picture of the cat because again they didn't know how to read and then none of that.
Gato.
And they're like, "Look at this cat. That's not a tuna. That's a fucking cat." He's like, but there's a fish right there. It's like, no, it's tuna flavored for cats.
Oh,
idiot.
No. He's eating Friskies.
So yeah, he was eating Friskies. So that kind of to the point where like
man.
it needed to be approved for people to eat. Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. And I bet a lot of people have that issue though too. You know what I mean?
I'm sure like somebody has done that before. You know?
Right, mistakenly. You know, that's all right. I mean, and the can looks the same.
Can looks
too.
the same. The food kind of looks the same. It's like
Yeah.
wet and fucking, you know,
Yeah,
kind of smells the same sometimes.
it does. I don't eat tuna. I can't eat tuna. Can you?
Not like from the can.
Yeah.
I'll eat tuna like. You ever had like real nice tuna steak?
Oh, I'll have like like prepared tuna like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
not tuna from a can. I can't eat tuna from a can. My ex used to always put tuna in a can in like mac and cheese. And I was like, this is fucking gross. I'm like,
I think my brother used to do tuna and mayonnaise and just eat it with crackers and shit.
Ugh.
Yeah, two of the worst things to eat just by themselves.
bro.
He's like,
Breath
let me
would be
put
rank after
these
that.
two together.
Breath mint after that.
Fuck
Yeesh.
that, man.
Whew. Oh, man.
Shit, man.
Well, what do you say we wrap this up and get home and get ourselves a nice can of Friskies?
Oh yeah, I'm about to go get me a nice bong. I didn't even rip a bong this morning, bro.
Is that a daily
It's
ritual
a
for
daily
you?
ritual. Before
Yeah.
I head out, bro, just rip my bong just to
Yeah.
like have people not piss me off all day.
It's a good ritual.
And yeah, and then I pissed myself off this morning.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It happens.
Well,
Life
whatever.
happens. So, well, let's sign off then and get on out of here. Thank you for watching, folks. My name's Jack Dwyer.